Hi, I'm Tony Scales. I head up programme development at the UK Government's 5G Testbeds and Trials programme within the Department for Culture, Media and Sport, or DCMS for short. I'm going to talk to you about our programme, how we've started, where we are today and where we're going next. Back at the beginning in 2016-17, we were established with a £200 million fund out of the National Productivity Infrastructure Fund. And that was designed to make sure that the UK was a leader in 5G activities, as well as making sure that we exploited the capabilities to deliver improved productivity both across industry sectors of the UK and in public services. We set out with a vision to build the base for 5G investment, both from the public sector and from industry, to foster the UK ecosystem of players so that there was a vibrant market for 5G services, to lead the UK efforts on 5G research and development. So far we've engaged with over 190 organisations directly involved in the programme through funded projects, including all of the Tier 1 operators, 23 universities, and 16 local authorities through a lot of projects. So on the next slide, you can see we've got the programme view, and there have essentially been 6 waves of activity, if you like, through the programme. First one was some use case trials we ran fairly early in the process, a lot of them before 5G had matured very much, but again, looking for the use cases that would drive 5G adoption. Those range from agri-tech to tourism to industrial 5G, logistics and transport, and some rural settings as well. In the second wave, we looked at urban connected communities. We ran a major campaign, and the West Midlands Combined Authority won that competition and established the West Midlands 5G organisation. And they've been spending the last couple of years working very, very hard on the infrastructure to support 5G, right the way up through everything from how councils deal with planning applications and with licensing access to services, right the way through now to running use case trials again on transport, on in many different application areas as well. The next stage is the UK Korea collaboration, where we're working with Cisco and the Korean government on the Seoul Metro and on the Glasgow Metro to replicate the same activities of high quality immersive media on metro trains. Fourth wave is all about industrial 5G. And again, we've got 2 very large, very successful programs going there, one with Ford and one with the National Composite Centre. Fifth wave is the rural connected communities, 7 projects there running across the UK, investigating all aspects of demand for 5G in rural settings. So the final wave is the 5G Create competition, which has seen unprecedented demand for activity around and bidding for our grant funds. And the first wave of those first window of competitors are now underway, and the last set we are about to announce very, very shortly. So moving on to live projects, we, as you can see from the map here, coded to tell you which areas are involved in which parts of the programme. You can see that's widespread across lots of the UK and across many different industry sectors, and again, just huge amounts of activity. By the time we have completed this phase of grants, we'll have roughly 30 projects running across the UK, and that takes quite a bit of monitoring and activity to make sure we're getting the yield from those projects, and that turns into a set of national assets that we can use as a nation going forward. So let's look at successes so far. To date, there have been 22 successful projects from 5 competitions involving over 190 organisations. Between them, they cover 11 different sectors, including agri-tech, healthcare, manufacturing and creative industries, as well as the public sector. The 5G programme innovation model has gained international recognition, with many other countries looking to follow our path, and extensive international engagement with countries from far apart as South Korea and Iceland, the US and across Europe. We're also working in space with the European Space Agency. Closer to home, we engage continuously with other government departments and support that ministerial dialogue to tackle specific challenges or facilitate discussion through joint working groups. A number of the phase 1 projects were extended to due to their success and are now scaling up. So Liverpool Health Trial is continuing to extend its work, and the Millbrook automotive test bed has also become a business in its own right. What lessons have we learned? Well, we started very early in the game, prior to the formalisation of many of the standards. Access to equipment, access to spectrum were all early challenges for our early trialists. So now we feel like in many ways we are coming of age in that sense. Vertical markets and different geographies have different requirements for 5G. One size doesn't fit all. 5G is much more like a Swiss Army knife in that sense. It's designed to facilitate many different activities in many different places. Creating stories that can be shared and that can help people to understand how 5G should matter to them is very important and has been very successful in terms of creating that ecosystem of players. We have continued to engage widely with local authorities, public sector, and with small and medium enterprises as well. And they've all made very valuable contributions to the programme and worked very closely with. Very important also to start small and build up, scale up when the fundamental questions are understood in sufficient depth to allow that scale up. Benefit their businesses as well, because they ultimately are the scale players in this market, and will continue to be so for a long time to come, I'm sure. It's very important in terms of lessons as well that you start small and build on and build up and scale up based on lessons that you learn as you go along, to trial and to answer those, not just the technical questions, but the commercial and the business case and business model questions in more depth. I'd like to also just cover quickly potential use cases in logistics. This is a very exciting sector because, of course, it's mobile at every stage of its activity. It's highly sensitive to slight changes making big differences in productivity. And as we also go through Brexit and we go through the COVID challenges, that's really making a difference to our logistics industry. The 5G playing a big role there. And we're seeing that as well, not just in the terrestrial logistics, we're also looking at 5G with space and working on collaboratively on the ESA's Space and 5G Convergence Programme and how they can bring together services across the globe based on that integration space-based 5G and 5G being used for lots of different uses within that space as well. I'd like to also talk a little bit about UK 5G. UK5G.org is our free-to-join collaborative ecosystem building organisation. It's already got 3,500 users, 1,500 organisations and 83 organisations which have registered in the 5G supplier directory that is hosted on the UK 5G site. They produce lots of information about our trials and about what's going on in 5G, not just within the trials, but outside that. They produce the innovation briefing, an excellent document with lots of really good information, very readable, both either in paper form or in online. Both are available to register on their website. Again, uk5g.org. It's free to join. Why wouldn't you join it? It's a collaboration, or UK5G is a collaboration between Cambridge Wireless, UKRI, and Knowledge Transfer Network, and TM Forum, which collaborate to provide that service. So at that point, I'd like to thank you for your time today, but also just to point a little bit to the future. So what we have to make sure of is that as we've run all of these projects, that as we close out the program in March 22, that we don't leave a lot of stranded assets out there that the government's invested in alongside our partners, but that we create a lasting legacy. And that's really the point of the next year and a half, is to make sure we productize those test beds, make them available widely to as many trialists as want to use them in the future. The organizations that run them have set up a sustainable basis for their activities going forward, and that the whole ecosystem is a lasting legacy for the UK, and that that 5G continues to be deployed deeply and widely in a productive way across our territory. Thank you very much.